What is up, everybody? Showing up the king, the one and only, and I'm here to bring you a very, very special message. Alright, so it's been over about a week and a half now since Young Justice, Invasion, and Green Lantern, the animated series, have ended. As we all know by now, Cartoon Network has decided to cancel the show, despite the fact that it's had pretty strong ratings throughout. Now, I think we've all figured out by now that, and through reading posts on Twitter from the voice actors, that the show basically got canceled not because of the ratings, because again, just like I just said, the ratings were great. It was because of toy merchandising. We all know that when it comes to these cartoons now, it's all about the toy sales. If your show doesn't get toy sales, your show will not last. And it's very unfortunate in this day and time, but that's kind of the way it is, especially when it comes to Green Lantern and Young Justice. First off, with Green Lantern, the animated series, that show was torpedoed from the beginning because all the toys that were made for Green Lantern were based off of the movie with Ryan Reynolds that bombed. So when Green Lantern, the animated series, had its show created, it was fighting with its own competition because all the toys on the shelf were based off of a movie with Ryan Reynolds that failed. The toy line for Green Lantern, the animated series, never really took off because it couldn't find its own footing. In relation to Young Justice as well, again, me personally, I felt like Young Justice was that kind of niche show that wasn't necessarily, even though it was perfectly safe for kids of the ages of 5 and 7 and the major people who would play with toys. I felt like Young Justice was one of those shows that was made for younger teens to adults that wouldn't necessarily just go out and run and buy Young Justice toys on a whim. Not enough to keep the show, getting season after season after season. That's just my take on it. And again, like I said, I'm a grown adult and I do collect action figures from time to time. But when I collect action figures, they are usually on the higher end. Play Arts Kai, I buy my stuff from Big Bad Toy Store, things of that nature, because you're going to get that detail. I'm not going to go buy a $20, Walmart figure where, you can barely tell what the character looks like because they were so cheaply made. And that's kind of how I felt about some of the Young Justice toys. I just felt like there wasn't enough detail put in for me. I know I remember there was, in particular, one of my favorite characters on that show was Aqualad. And I felt like there was a toy that came out where it was a pretty big toy. I think it was like a 6-inch figure, and it had like his little water sword, and it also had something with like a little fountain thing that was connected that was showing that he was controlling water, and the toy just looked. It didn't look well made, and it wasn't anything that really impressed me. So again, there was nothing that I could do about that. But again, I digress. I don't want to get too much on a tangent because again, I did say this is going to be a short video, and I know a lot of you are just waiting for my update, so I do apologize. Essentially, there was a there is going to be a meeting on April 11th, and this meeting is going to be between the Warner Brothers Animation Studio and SM Go TV. And what SM Go TV is going to try to do is convince Warner Brothers that Young Justice and Green Lantern deserve another shot. And what they're going to do is they're going to try to get permission to do a Kickstarter, essentially. And again, we all know what Kickstarter is. If you guys are familiar with Veronica Mars, they came out and said they wanted to do a Kickstarter to try to get a Veronica Mars movie. And within 48 hours, they raised like $3 million. All the fans chipped in. It was great. Now, with this, what they're trying to do is essentially the Kickstarter for Young Justice and Green Lantern to either A, get some movies done, some animated movies, or B, maybe get some more episodes going. Now, details are kind of sketchy in relation to will it actually come back on an actual network, or versus will these be like online episodes, or will these be like releases like the DC Universe movies are concerned. We all know that there was a Young Justice movie planned, I think it was called the Messiah Complex, or something to that effect, and it never ended up happening. But at this point, any news in relation to Young Justice or Green Lantern is welcome news. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to the description of the website, and what we can do at this point is keep talking about Young Justice and Green Lantern. We need to keep signing the petitions. We need to keep writing to Warner Brothers. We need to keep writing to Cartoon Network. Anyone that we can get, we need to let our voices be heard, because again, look what it's done so far. They're going to meet, so essentially, I'll repeat it again. SM Go TV, they tweeted out yesterday that they had a meeting discussion about Young Justice and Green Lantern, and it went well. So what they're going to do is they're going to meet with Warner Brothers Animation to see if they can get permission to do a Kickstarter program to get funding done for new Young Justice new Young Justice TV shows, movies, etc. Same thing with Green Lantern, the animated series. So the meeting is April 11th, and until then, what we need to do as fans of the show is to talk more about it, get the information out there, sign more petitions, write to these people and let them know that we want the show to come back. Now, my preference would be that the show would come back on another network. Honestly, I've lost a lot of faith in Cartoon Network to give this show a fair shake. I wouldn't mind seeing it come on Nickelodeon or hell, Disney XD, one of those shows on one of those channels. So, in my opinion, well, I know it probably won't come on Disney XD only because Disney owns Marvel, and I know they would never really conflict with Disney and with Marvel and DC's things on the same network. So Disney may be out of the question, but hell, there's always Nickelodeon. Now, if Cartoon Network can get their shit together, hey, go ahead, by all means, go ahead and put it back on. I mean, you already have a base that knows where your show is coming from. But again, I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. Let your voices be heard. Definitely thumbs up this video, because the more people who are exposed to this video will know more about it and get the word out. This is Shut Up the King, the one and only, and you guys, we did it.